You give me any word, I will have some anecdotal story about it that has like a beginning, a middle, and end, and will take you on some sort of emotional journey. Because a lot of people tell stories, and it's like, what's the fucking point? You should know what's the hook, what's the climax, what's the denouement. Like, you should know these things. This is what makes you a compelling speaker, conversationalist. Now, by the way, back to the mechanism of inhibition here. If you're out and you're talking to somebody and they say something, or you're in a group, just conversing, and they say something and you get an impulse of something to say, it bubbles up from the intuition, from the subconscious process of intuition. It just burbles up. You're like, that would be a good thing to say. Intuition is a lower subconscious process that's always running. Again, it's sub-symbolic. It moves up, you become aware of it, and now your intellect has to step in and decide if you're going to fucking say this. Now, again, that judgment period, it lasts possibly a fraction of a second. However, what is the judgment that's taking place? Will this, if I say this, will it do what? Make me look stupid, embarrass me, make me look silly, make me look pushy, aggressive, weird, reveal something about my psyche that I don't want people to know. That might just take a fraction of a second, but a conversation is flowing in time. There's no time out for you to make that evaluation. So now, by the time you decided it's okay to say, a beat or two has passed, maybe you do say it, and now it doesn't hit as hard, it's not as punchy, it's not as funny. It gives us this kind of like impression of you second guessing yourself, and thereby subcommunicating insecurity, or more likely, you get hung up and you don't say it at all, and now you have, quote, run out of things to say. Most of these exercises that we do, the intention isn't to tell the funniest fucking story about ball sacks so Jeff thinks it's awesome, like when I do this on my mentoring. I mean, if that happens, that's a happy side effect, right? The intention is to increase the demand upon your communication system, right? And in increasing the demand, you're increasing the level of inhibition that is required to tamp it down. And in doing so, it gets magnified and it makes it noticeable. So these exercises are designed to serve a diagnostic function. That's the primary goal of them. You notice yourself getting hung up. You'll notice the mind stepping in. The mind is stepping in and being like, I can't say that. Like the clutch starts slipping. It becomes noticeable, and then what can you do? Again, awareness is the first step. Because remember, when you're out there, it's not verbally thought out in your head. Anxiety about approaching someone, that's not verbally thought out in your head either. Like, oh, there's about to be a change in the emotional energy I'm putting out through my face, voice, and body. I might be ridiculed. Let's shut it down with physical tension. It's not verbalized in your mind. It's this right brain, culturally conditioned error that just happens. And all you know is you can't talk, you can't say it, you can't move, right? So again, by putting a spotlight on these things and dragging them, kicking and screaming into the light from your subconscious, they become noticeable, and then you can start the longer process of letting it go, prying your fingers off it, letting it fucking go, and replacing their manifestations in your life. Or rather, you can transform what was previously this default necessity into a choice. Now you have a choice to be low-key. You have a choice to be quiet. You could do that. You don't have to, because now you could do anything. Remember, and this is a big thing to write down if you're writing shit down, individual choices gain power in direct proportion to the larger field of choice potential surrounding them. So the more stuff that you could do, the more powerful an individual choice becomes. Putting awareness on the mechanism of inhibition, that's where it starts. Now remember, awareness is just the first step, but the awareness has to come without shame or guilt. Now a lot of people ask me then, they said, well shit, how can I accept myself now if I'm trying to become better? That's sort of the paradoxical question of self-help in general. I'm trying to become better, so how can I accept myself as I am now? You wouldn't consider a 5-year-old an imperfect adult because they can't drive a car and they can't do the things an adult can do. And the best way to ensure that they become a healthy, functioning 25-year-old is to love them and accept them in the moment as they are. So wherever the fuck you are, and by the way, that is a major component of developing self-esteem, is accepting yourself where you are. Also, being conscious of what the fuck you're doing. Because many people will just, as Owen likes to say, they're going through life in a walking daze. and look, we can bring up questions of free will and brain chemistry and things of that nature. I mean, I don't know the answers to that. Like how much of our behaviors is regulated by brain chemistry and shit like that. I don't even fucking know, right? That's above my pay grade. But the thing is, you got to at least start to develop some sort of conscious awareness of your habitual behaviors, so you can actually change what needs to be changed and not just be like this reflexive knee-jerk reaction to shit that's happening around you. So again, living consciously, accepting yourself, taking fucking responsibility for your life. That's another big one. Many people do not. What do they do instead?
Blame others.
Yeah, it's all blame. Oh, it's the fucking Democrats' fault. It's fucking my work is treating me unfairly. These fucking bitches, like this, that, the next thing, like some bitter bullshit. And look, you may be being treated unfairly. Doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter. You need to take responsibility for that, for yourself, and do whatever the hell you can to improve the situation. You know, yeah, bad things happen to good people. I mean, look, people, you know, a lot of people will then retort, well, what about the Holocaust? Should they have taken responsibility? You ever read a book called Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl? That's essentially a guy who was in Auschwitz who essentially proposed that very same idea. He took responsibility for his own situation, and it's one of the, I guess one of the most important self-help books of the 20th century. Stand up for what you want. Go for what you want. Live with intention. You know, we talked a bit about purpose yesterday, and last but not least, live with integrity. If you do all of those things on a regular basis, you will cultivate a higher self-esteem, which enables you to do that, then to do what? Understand the value proposition that you're bringing to the table. If you don't understand the fucking value proposition that you're bringing to the table, whether it's a client, whether it's someone you want to date, whether it's someone that you want to associate with you in any context, how the fuck are they going to know? If you don't know why it's a good idea, why someone should associate with you, how the fuck are they going to know? Because again, what's going to happen, you're going to feel as though you are getting over on them or tricking them, and you will not be able to congruently sell or close the deal. When I'm up here and I'm like, okay, here's the content, and by the way, I also have this program that I do, who wants to come? I can congruently do that. What enables me to congruently do that? Because I've been doing it for 21 years, almost every single weekend, and I literally see the people's lives changing. Every single weekend. I know it works. I'm not like, oh, time to sell my little bullshit. Hope I can get some suckers this weekend to take my little bullshit and trick them. Sorry, no refunds. Like, that's not going to first of all, that's not going to last very long. The word's going to get out about that shit very quickly. Those people do not they do not have staying power in any industry. You know, those people, they're not going to get repeat business. They're not going to get people like that want to see them again. Second date. Maybe you don't want a second date. It's fine. But again, having that self-esteem is what enables you to congruently go up and be like, yo, what's up? Here I am. That is what enables you to not get upset at rejection, right? Because many of you likely are upset when you get rejected. Like your night feels like it is getting worse. And then after several of these over the course of an evening, you will start to circle the drain of despair in a shame spiral, and then you're fucked, and you must go home and smoke weed and like jerk off, with using your tears as lubricant. Perhaps playing some sort of video game. I personally like NBA 2K. You can quickly, you know, crank one out. I mean, a game, not. But you know what I mean? So like, and then go to sleep. Smoke some weed, go to sleep. I used to be, look, I used to, like all these things I'm saying, I used to do. Because I started when I was 26 in 2002, 2003. So I understand, but we legitimately no longer see rejection. I just don't see that any longer. I see lack of chemistry. Because I know first of all, I know I'm not making dumb mechanical errors. That's another big thing. You're probably making dumb mechanical errors as well that you're unaware of. Right? Now, what's an example of dumb you've been on program. What's an example of a dumb mechanical error?
Not squaring up.
Yeah, not squaring up, not smiling. Like simple simple physical things, like, again, not smiling, poor eye contact, not loud enough, qualifying yourself, asking weird invasive questions, bad tonality. Like, there's a lot of different things that you're probably doing wrong. But again, nuts and bolts mechanical things don't take very long to learn, provided you have a modicum of intelligence to you. You'll learn that stuff pretty quick, provided you can get over the inhibitions that are preventing you from taking. Because there is, like, again, squaring up, for example, standing directly in front of somebody and looking them in the eyes. A lot of people have massive inhibition against that. Why? Social conditioning. So remember, these inhibitions, the same thing where you couldn't come up with the words in the 8-ball game, it's the same inhibition that's preventing you from putting yourself out there fully. So the mind needs to be studied. Again, you need to have, like, what improves access to intuition, to intuitive energies? A coherent nervous system, right? Meditation. Understanding how a thought, what is a thought? How does it rise and fall? How do they ebb and flow in your mind? How many people here meditate pretty regularly? You know, so it's just a kind of a watching just monitoring the higher observers, watching the intellect, seeing how thoughts rise and fall. What do thoughts usually like center around?
Weird subconscious shit.
You're like murder, like it's like problems. Like, okay, I got to do what tomorrow? Oh yeah, I got to take the van in. Oh shit, and then I also got to go to the doctor, because I got that other thing. Oh, but then I got the flight, so I got to pack for the flight. You know, it's kind of like helping you navigate the world. But sometimes it just needs to shut the fuck up. And it needs to, again, relinquish its role as the owner of everything. Like, sometimes the ego gets so involved, it thinks it's everything. It thinks it is. It discounts, you know, some people will who are very egoic, will grudgingly accept the existence of intuition, like, oh, you know, dreams and stuff like that, I guess. But they certainly don't believe it could be a useful tool in their interactions. Everything must be monitored. So again, through observation, you can start to understand the nature and the function of the intellect, of how its role in inhibiting you from being able to speak freely. And then you can start to let it go. Now, here's the thing, though. Like I said, without shame, without guilt. So what does that mean? You want to honor these inhibitions. You want to honor them, because they helped you. At one point, they helped you. They did help you. They helped you not look like a fool. They helped you feel safe from the judgment of the group. But again, remember, as I said yesterday, if you have decided you want greater results, you want extraordinary results, well, now you have to accept you're going to have to do extraordinary things. Like, what does that mean? Things that ordinary people will not do. Which means express yourself more loudly sometimes. It means be a little bit more assertive. Be a little bit more expressive in the face, voice, and body. Right? Allow that. Allow those energies free reign. You guys know who Marie Kondo is? You remember that? That lady who helped you clean the house? It was a big trend a couple of years ago. She'd go through everything in the house. You go through your closet, you open the closet door, you look at every single piece of clothing in there, you look at it and you ask yourself, does this spark joy? If the answer is yes, like in your soul, you keep it. If the answer is no, you throw it out. But you say, before you throw it out, you say, thank you for your service. And you throw it in the fucking trash or take it to Goodwill. Right? That was a big trend. You don't remember this? Like, I did it. I went through every room in my house. I got rid of a lot of crap. But you do this with the inhibitions too. Thank you for your service. You protected me at one point. I don't need you anymore. I don't need it. I don't need you anymore. Let it go. It's not serving you anymore. At least not if you actually want to achieve these improved results that you all seem to want, ostensibly.